Please click the subscribe button and the notification icon. It will help us a lot.
You know, a lot of teachers in fine art schools in France have nothing to do there, because the only thing they're good at is this. You know, it's like talking, like, and I you know, bullshit talking. And I pardon my French, but this is like, I've seen that over and over and over again. Like people who are good at, you know, this, but have absolutely no reason to be in those schools because they don't know how to teach. They don't know. I mean, they don't know how to teach classical training skills, and they don't know anything of the principles, the basic principles of art classes, you know, like classical training. And I mean, every time I go to give a lecture, every time I can talk about this, I really do, because it's one thing to be able to talk about your art and the reasons behind your art, the theme, you know, you can get into philosophical whatever, you know, it's like you can talk about your art for like half an hour, like write a whole book about what you do. This is one thing. Do you have the skill, like the set of skills to actually depict what you're talking about? That's a different story. I mean, if you have that, that's the first step, you know. It's like you don't give the cars, you know, your car keys to a 5-year-old kid and say, oh, you know, trust your intuition, go drive on the freeway. It's like, this is ridiculous, you know. It's like we have come to an absolutely ridiculous point in art in the 20th century. Now it's time to change all this and go back to our roots. It doesn't mean that you can't do abstract painting. That's always what I say. This is not about like fighting. There's very good things in modern art, like about pure design, and you know, you look at Japanese art and like Asian art in general. They didn't come from the same perspective as we did in the Western world. So they're more about design, pure design, and pure shapes and all this. This is even something different. All this comes from the same principles. If you don't know your principles, you know, like from the point to the line to the flat shapes, compositional flat shapes, three-dimensional shapes, composition of three-dimensional shapes, and then lighting, color, texture, all this stuff. All this is gathering the same rules. Whether you do, you know, what is an abstract painting? It's basically a gathering of flat shapes with like more or less fuzzy edges. But this is the same thing. As soon as you put your feet in front of a canvas and you put paint on it, you're going to be using those principles. If you don't know those principles, and I know a lot of abstract painters don't know these principles, you don't know what you're doing. It's like basically you know a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but you don't know the whole thing. At least know the whole thing. Even if you're not the greatest draftsman in the world, at least know what you're using in those principles. And that's what I'm trying to advocate for.